Yeah, out, in, out, what it's out, in, out, what it is all about. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Saying that you regret endorsing Joe Biden. Why?
It's not that I regret endorsing Joe Biden. It's just that, I think that we all can get burned, by politicians. Because when I say endorsing, I put my name and my reputation on the line with my listeners. And when my listeners feel like he didn't deliver, they come back to me and they say, hey, man, you're the one who told us to vote for, Joe Biden. You're the one who told us to vote for Kamala Harris. So, I care about my listeners and what my listeners think. But I do want to say that, I think President Biden historically has been a lack of a better word, a shitty elected official. But, Donald Trump is the end of democracy as we know it.
So you'd vote for Biden again?
I'm not saying either or, but I think, since y'all ask answers, because that's what y'all do on CNN, you like to ask answers. Like you ask, what I said, you asked is if Donald Trump was black, would he get locked up? You know the answer to that.
But I mean, right? I don't know so you are going to vote for Joe Biden?
I think it's simple and plain. If you, Donald Trump is the end of democracy, I don't know what to tell people. And I know it sounds, when you say that now in 2024, you've heard it so much because every time, there's a Republican candidate, people say, oh, it's the end of democracy. He's the, people go so far to say, oh, he's the Antichrist. But this is one of those times where, it really actually positively is true.
One thing that you have said on the campaign trail for Nikki Haley,
Biden is a shitty candidate. But Trump gets elected. It's the end of democracy as we know it. That is what Charlamagne, the guy, or as Monique would call him, Leonard, said. Greetings, family. This is the one and only G-Boot 2786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. If you're tuning in on our YouTube channels as well as X, thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And also, if you have not, you also need to make sure you hit that notification bell. So when we go live, you know that we are live and I'm coming at you with 5. So what you saw in that video with Charlamagne the God and Angela Rye is that Charlamagne has stated that he's not sold, doesn't like Joe Biden, but I don't want Donald Trump to get in, so I think it's obvious I'm going to vote for him. So he chastises Biden, but then endorses Biden in this. And joining me, ladies and gentlemen, since it is Thursday night, we're going to bring in our special guest, my co-host for this evening. This brother is the author of over 80-something books, including The Man Crisis, The Woman Crisis, and he has the John Haynes series, The Man with Nothing to Lose. He has nothing to lose, ladies and gentlemen. Please give it up for Sean James. What's up, Sean?
What's up, Gavin? How are you today?
I'm doing good, my brother. I'm doing good. How are things in old New York?
They are rough.
Oh, rough? How rough?
Every day is a day that you thank God you're alive in the city.
Do you open your window up and want to get some fresh air and then reach out and a hand grab you?
Something like that.
Oh.
It's really weird. It's really rough out here.
If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, though. That's the old saying, huh? So,
Yeah.
Sean, why don't you do a plug-in and also tell us, if you are, what your live stream is going to be about tomorrow, if you have decided.
Well, I'm still out. The live stream is still up in the air, but the SJF Direct 2024 catalog is going to be available on March 22nd, and you can pre-order the first book in digital format, John Haynes Illuminati, on Amazon.com, and by heading over there. And you can also pick up the other books in the SJF Direct catalog on Amazon.com and other online booksellers.
Sure. Sean, you saw the video that we played, of course. Shout out to brother TD Hip Hop because he brought this to my attention. He brought this to my attention yesterday. I saw his video. I watched what you saw. Charlamagne was on there with Angela Rye, another Democratic shill, who was talking about the election on CNN, of course, that's coming up in 2024. We know Trump has won the major primaries, including Iowa, and I believe the last one was it New Hampshire, or was it?
It was New Hampshire.
It was New Hampshire. He won by a landslide. It wasn't even close. And Nikki Haley is still planning on running in the race. Matter of fact, Biden, since we're talking about that, New Hampshire, the other topic too is Biden has been removed from the ballots in New Hampshire. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Did not know that.
Yes, Biden was removed. So we're going to be talking about that. But I wanted to ask you, Sean, obviously, with what's going on in regards to Charlamagne the God. Yeah, this is an article from PBS. Yeah. So yeah, he was removed. So I'm going to talk about that and tying that in with what Leonard had to say. Sean, what do you think of Charlamagne the God's remarks if you watch the video and him speaking on Joe Biden, how he's been bad, but I'm still going to vote for him?
It just shows how pathetic these bootlicks are. I mean, you already have issues with a candidate that has already told you way back when he was president-elect he was going to do nothing for you, but you still keep voting blue no matter who. What's going on here with Charlamagne the
Even before that, I'm sorry to interrupt. Before that, he even told Charlamagne, if you can't decide you don't want to vote for it, then you ain't black.
Yeah, well, it's just a pathetic. They're just pathetic. I just have to say that about Charlamagne the God. He's basically showing me that he's nothing more than a peon, because You have a president who did nothing for you, told you to your face he's going to do nothing for you, yet you still continue to support him. And that is the height of pathetic, because anybody with any common sense would have said right after Joe Biden told everybody in 2020 he wasn't going to do anything for them, hey, I don't need to go out here and vote for anybody. All I need to do is stay home. But this bootlick, because he's still thinking he can gain favor with Joe Biden and the Blue Party, continues to sell off his dignity by saying, oh, I'm going to criticize him, but I'm still going to vote for him. But at the end of the day, if you're still going to vote for him, he has no reason to respect you or regard you, because he's already going to get that vote. So that's the whole pathetic thing about this whole situation. And it shows me how pathetic these bootlicks are. I mean, you get disrespected straight to your face, and you're still looking to support that same person. I mean, it's no different than what it used to be when I was growing up in the South Bronx. These jeans and sneaker stores would basically disrespect black people who wanted to buy their Air Jordan sneakers, and they would go to these stores, letting them hold their bags, follow them around in the store, and question their money and their credit cards just to get these sneakers, not understanding they were sacrificing their intangibles of character just to get a pair of these sneakers. I mean, you're sacrificing your dignity for a pair of sneakers, and you're sacrificing your dignity in the same way for a candidate who already shows you no respect. And instead of taking your respect, you sit there, let this person disrespect you, then come back and say you've got to continue supporting that person. Just pathetic all around. And these bootlicks, again, are so sad. I mean, are you that desperate for a job at MSNBC or CNN that you'll go out here and compromise your dignity like this? That's the critical question I got to ask, because you have a president that everybody is walking away from, if you still want to stand with him, and you will stand with him, and it just shows how sad and pathetic you are, because everybody else is standing up like a man for tangibles for a black agenda and saying, hey, this person doesn't respect me. And if they don't respect me, then they don't deserve my vote or even deserve my time.
Sean,
Yeah, I'm here.
can you hear me? We haven't.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was having some technical. Yeah. Whoa. What's up? So I was having some technical difficulties on my end, Sean. If you don't mind, could you please repeat what you said, since I missed all of that? Just the last part.
Well, all I've got to say is that that Charlamagne The God is a pathetic individual, because Joe Biden has disrespected black people since December of 2020. And for him to keep saying that he wants to try to endorse someone who already told you he's going to do nothing for you, that just shows how pathetic he is, because you're giving away your vote and getting nothing for it. And he could care less about you chastising him, because at the end of the day, he's going to get your vote for doing nothing. And if he gets your vote for doing nothing, then he's showing that he still can disrespect you. And the sad part is that you've got guys like this who sacrifice their dignity, similar to what we get in my neighborhood, where people used to buy jeans and sneakers. They would sacrifice their dignity, getting their money scrutinized, getting their credit cards scrutinized, being told to hold their bags just to buy a pair of Jordans. And this is the same thing. You have people sacrificing their dignity, voting for candidates that do nothing for them. And Charlamagne The God, for all of his talk, his actions show that he is somebody nobody needs to respect, because instead of him walking away from a politician who's already told you to your face is going to do nothing for you, you continue to endorse someone who continues to show you nothing but contempt.
Well, I don't think it's not just nothing but contempt. It's blatant disrespect how the Democratic Party has treated black people in this country. And in particular, the last 3 years of this presidency, President Biden has done very little, of really nothing at all, for the black community. All we've gotten is empty symbolism. You get a Juneteenth holiday, you get a few token Negroes in the White House who do some miscellaneous jobs, and we get nothing out of it after that, nothing in return. We're not seeing a return on our investment. Now, I didn't vote for Joe Biden. Now, they always say if you don't vote, you can't complain. But it should be the opposite. If you vote and you vote for the wrong person, you are responsible for that person's wrongdoings. It's like if you hired somebody that was stealing money from out of your register and your business closed, your fault for keeping that person around if you didn't fire them immediately. But because I didn't vote for this person, like George Carlin once talked about this, you have nothing to say. I can talk as much as I want. And Charlamagne is trying to put the fear of God, just like what they always do each year. And he even said this, well, you don't vote, the boogeyman is going to get in. We've dealt with racist presidents before in the past. We've had to always deal with it. So I don't understand why now everybody is so scared. But you have this, and this is an article from them. They say trouble with the God. The influential radio host of the Breakfast Club is a thorn in the side of Democrats, but he's also representative of one of their biggest problems. So what they say is, instead of thinking of better ways, I'm just going through it to play up policy achievements. He argues Democrats rely too much on depicting former President Donald Trump as a crook. Quoting Charlamagne, he says, it's almost like Democrats are doing this purity test. America is not pure. The people of America are not pure. We're flawed. I'm not looking for any politicians to be pure. I'm looking for my politicians to be effective. Now, I can just tell, just by looking at this, that this political basically is slanted towards Joe Biden. You can tell by how it's written. They say he doesn't list in this paragraph, instead of thinking of better ways to play up policy achievements, he argues Democrats rely too much. So what they're saying is, he's made some policy achievements, but what has that benefited Black people? There's nothing here. They say Biden sent checks too. Talk about, well, Trump sent checks with his name on it. Charlamagne doesn't consider himself a Democrat or Republican, a position he allows himself to call bullshit on empty campaign rhetoric politicians spew when they decide it's time to engage Black audiences to wrangle up votes. In 2024, it's a race between the cowards, the crooks, and the couch, he said, referring to Biden, Trump, and the option to stay home. Charlamagne suspects the couch will win. Now, as I was pointing out earlier, Biden, this is how disenfranchised everybody with Biden. They took him off the New Hampshire primary ballot. What they're saying is that the move is the latest development in a long-run simmering dispute within the Democratic Party over which states and regions should have the first say in determining the party's presidential nominees every 4 years. Iowa and New Hampshire have traditionally kicked off the nomination process for both parties, but other states have challenged their prime placement in the calendar over the years. Now, Charlamagne is not the only one. Even you got Bojangles Clyburn, who's actually surprised that Biden is losing the Black vote. Everywhere there's been a discourse, proof that Biden's approval has slumped among Black supporters. So they don't even want him on the ballot in New Hampshire, Sean. So there's people frustrated with that. I don't see Joe Biden beating Donald Trump. You're free to comment.
Well, I don't see Joe Biden beating Donald Trump either, since we are basically in a recession right now with all of these layoffs and all of these businesses doing very poorly. I mean, we just had a whole bunch of big tech companies lay off a bunch of people, and I don't really see Joe Biden doing well. And I think they took him off the ballot because they said that some of these little lame candidates were actually beating him, and we're going to beat him in the primary. So they already know that Joe Biden is a broken candidate. They know he's defective. And even though they keep trying to cover things up for him, it just makes it worse for the Blue Party, because they know they've got a lemon for an incumbent, and this lemon of an incumbent basically cannot win based on his record. And he basically has alienated most of the people out here, especially black voters. I mean, he threw a middle finger up at black people, and now because he invested in this coalition of voters who were minority that didn't show up, he knows that nobody's going to take their booty to the poll for him because he's a terrible candidate. And with him being an absolutely terrible candidate, this is why his candidacy is basically in a tailspin, and he's basically at a desperate point, because while his whole campaign is based on Orange Man bad, he doesn't have anything to show as related to his record to show that everything is going well, because we can look at the whole state of the union, and the state of the union is in a dire place, even though the media outlets continue to try to tell lies to people. I mean, they keep saying, oh, the economy's doing well. Well, how does an economy do well when you have layoffs? Critical question I would like to ask Joe Biden. I mean, how do you have layoffs in retail after an abysmal holiday season? How do you have layoffs at big tech companies, which are the backbone of the Blue Party's economy? And how do we have an economy doing well when things like your electric car are proving to be a failure? I mean, all we see is America being not built back better, but in a worse state than it was in, similar to the Bush 92 campaign, where back in 1988, he said in 4 years, you'll be better off than you were. And everybody was in a state of a recession, doing worse than they were. So we see with Joe Biden, he made a lot of promises, and those promises weren't kept. And that's why he's basically in the sad state that he's in right now.
I want y'all to listen to this. Clyburn was on NBC News. He was also on CNN, where he said he was very concerned. But I want y'all to listen to this. He's talking about Biden's speeches. Listen carefully to what he's saying.
Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn, assistant Democratic leader and one of the national co-chairs of the Biden re-election campaign. Congressman Clyburn, it's nice to see you. I appreciate you making time to speak with us right now. I do want to ask you, in recent months, you told one of our colleagues that you're confident that black voters are going to turn out in force for President Biden. But on this most recent Sunday, you said that you're, quote, very concerned about black voters showing up for the president. What changed, sir?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Nothing changed. My concern is much more with black voters getting the right information, getting all of the information so that they will be informed voters. That's my concern. I believe very strongly that this president has done what is necessary to earn the support of African Americans all over this country. But I'm also concerned that when we report these results, they don't always tell the full story. And student loan debt relief is one of the best examples I can think of. The president attempted to reduce and eliminate student loan debt in 5 different categories.
It has nothing to do with black folks. As far as the student loan debt, the Supreme Court has already said that they can't get rid of that. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, there is such thing as student loan forgiveness, but it's not all your debt is not forgiven. The debt was only $10,000. I think what he could only give up to was $10,000.
He got sued in one category and was stopped from doing so. He pursued the other 4, which resulted in $132 billion in student loan debt relief for 3.4 million people. That never gets reported.
Yeah, no doubt.
Report the lawsuit.
I apologize for interrupting. No, you make a good point. And also, certainly, Republicans oppose the president every which way as it related to student loans, though. But as you speak about these concerns right now, what specifically can the president do? What does he need to do to ease your concerns?
More of what he has done in the last 2 big speeches. I think the speech up there at the Valley Forge was a great speech. The speech at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston was even greater. He took the big picture offered by Valley Forge, by George Washington, and localized it to current conditions as demonstrated at the event that happened at Emmanuel Church. And so this is what I think needs to be done for the president to continue.
Let me stop. So you mentioned that student loan relief. This is an article I got here from USA Today or SI Live, excuse me. They say student loan forgiveness, $5 billion in debt, canceled for 75,000 borrowers. So what happens is when you're talking about student debt relief, if you work in the public sector, like I do, for instance, as a public defender, if you work after 10 years, or you work in a charity, if you work for the government, anything like that, after 10 years, your student loan gets forgiven. But you have to make $30,000 of the 75,000 borrowers approved for relief. Nearly 44,000 of them are teachers, nurses, fighters, and other individuals who have earned forgiveness after 10 years. So there's a catch with that. They don't just forgive it automatically. You still have to do income-driven repayment plans. So what he's talking about is such as increasing Pell Grants to help families who earn less than $60,000 a year, fixing the public service loan forgiveness program so borrowers who go into the public service get the debt relief they're entitled to. So the federal government will begin to cancel debt starting next month under the Saving on a Valuable Education Plan. And cancellations, they say, the income-driven plan cuts monthly payments in half for federal undergraduate loans in good standing, saving the average borrower nearly more than $1,000 annually in payments. So what they're look like they're desperate because they say it was initially slated to begin in July, but it's going to start in February. But how does this exactly relate to Black people? Sean.
It doesn't really relate to Black people. It's just another Hail Mary in a desperate attempt to show that they somewhat try to say that they care about Black people. But Joe Biden's fate was sealed back in December of 2020 when he basically told Black leaders he could do nothing for them. I mean, I could care less about a student loan forgiveness program. What I want are two tangibles. No, but what I really want is an anti-Black hate crime bill because so many Black people are victims of anti-Black hate, and that's an important tangible. And the other thing that I would want is a reparations being brought to Black people so that we can deal with the legacy of slavery, Jim Crow, and an ongoing and current discrimination that keeps generations of Black men underemployed and keeps Black men from being able to compete in the American economy. Those are the tangibles I want to see. And again, Joe Biden basically is just throwing out empty symbolic gestures and Hail Marys in the hopes of buying Black voters, trying to run the same con he did back in 2022 when he tried to trick many of these millennials and Gen Z into voting to preserve democracy by trying to bribe them into buying, again, with this student loan forgiveness he knew wasn't going to go through, because in order to get student loans through, you had to go through the Congress. But what Joe Biden did was try to go out here and create this policy he knew was going to fail and get tossed out by the Supreme Court. But by then he would have people's votes. And that's where people got the lemon deal on Joe Biden the first time in preserving the so-called democracy. But the preservation of democracy hasn't provided any tangible for Black people. And Black people have to realize that since Joe Biden's offering nothing on the table, we have all the incentive to stay home this time instead of taking our booties to the polls to preserve democracy from the evil Donald Trump, who's going to undermine it, when in actuality the Blue Party has done everything to undermine Black people over the last 4 years by pushing things like jab mandates that kept millions of Black people out of work and jeopardized Black people's jobs, and other destructive policies that really haven't helped Black people. I mean, the Asians got their anti-Asian hate crime bill. Migrants are getting free stuff every day. But the average, everyday working Black man and Black woman, they were the ones who took their booties to the poll to preserve the democracy, and all they got was nothing but contempt expressed towards them. So when I listen to Negro Jim Clyburn and his tap dancing routine, all I hear are empty words from an empty suit. So I don't have to watch Jim Clyburn try to beg and plead for me. There's still nothing on the table. And since there's nothing on the table from the Biden campaign, then I got no reason to vote for Joe Biden or any member of the Blue Party.
Yeah.
We do things when they need to be done. I do believe that if the president had done this before the Christmas holidays, it may have gotten washed away with all the revelry. Now that we are focused on a Congress that seemed not to be able to get out of its way just today, the very first rule that the Republicans put forth in the new year, they failed. So the president is doing it at the right time, though it was a little frustrating to be in that waiting period. But I think we are exactly where we need to be.
Congressman, I want to ask you, some officials in Michigan, Democrats there have complained that President Biden has been spending too much time in Pennsylvania in particular. We just learned that the president's going to be traveling to Michigan and Nevada, reported exclusively first by NBC News. He'll do that this month. Does the president need to step up his outreach in some of those other key battlegrounds where the election might be decided?
Well, I don't know how to keep up with the percentages of the time that the president may be spending on one place or another, but I do believe that it's got to be everywhere. This is not a regional election. This is an election for 50 states and territories, plus the territories. And so we've got to be everywhere that we can possibly be.
I want to show y'all something too. When they want to kick off their campaign, this is what they promote. See, this is what Clyburn forgets. Look at this big sign. You see what that says? Restore Road. That's all they care about. That's all they care about.
That card's been played and nobody cares.
Yeah. Nothing about what you want, nothing about tangibles, nothing about reparations. Restore Jane Roe. Roe versus Wade. And they wonder why support is slipping. Y'all make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And if you want to love me for my time, then pay me for my time. Drop something in the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. Sean, we're going to move on from sleepy Joe Biden. Biden's punk ass. As Judge Joe Brown would say, he has no judiciary functioning. We're going to talk about Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. Now, as of now, ladies and gentlemen, there has not been, to my knowledge, any proof, concrete, I guess, in the divorce filings of Fani Willis that has been mentioned. However, what has happened is that, as you know, I reported on Tuesday, the judge in Nathan Wade's divorce case has unsealed the record, the divorce proceedings. Now, my whole thing with the Fani Willis matter was probably would have to happen. I think she might have to step down temporarily while this stuff is going on. Now, like I said, I've always said, if there's no proof of it, we'll just wait and see what happens. But the thing is, she appointed this man, Nathan Wade, and paid him $600,000. He's made $600,000 in prosecuting this one case or more. The average a district attorney doesn't even make that amount of money a year. DAs, I'm talking about an actual DA, they'll make six figures, but not no damn 600,000. And this started back in 2021. So you're talking about from 2021 to January of 2024, nearly let's just say 2.5 years, he's made close to $1 million. And she has not fully, Fani Willis has not fully answered whether or not the allegations of her having an affair with Nathan Wade, well, if you want to call it an affair, because, I mean, technically he's still married, but, they're going through a divorce, but they're splitting property. If it's true. So I'm going to play this video we have from Fulton County Commissioner wants Fani Willis probed. I want y'all to listen to this.
Fulton County Commissioners approved their 2024 fiscal year budget today, but it's the funding for the district attorney's office that was the hot button topic.
Fox 5's Brittany Edney is live at the Fulton County Government Center tonight. Brittany, what happened during that meeting?
Well, you definitely had some heated public input. And if you combine that with Commissioner Bob Ellis's recent inquiry into Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, well, there was a lot of spotlight on the budget and specifically money for her office. Some commissioners say they wanted to give more funding. Others, like Ellis, said that he wants an accounting of how every single dollar has been spent. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis was a primary focus of the public comment portion of the county commissioners meeting.
It is clear we have abuse in the DA's office.
Commissioners approved the 2024 fiscal year budget Wednesday. In it, funding for the DA's office is marked at around $36.6 million. That comes in at about $200,000 lower than what the DA's office actually spent in 2023. Commissioner Dana Barrett commented that the criminal justice sector needs more funding.
There's headlines right now, and there's all this salacious stuff going around, and there's a lot of conversation about the DA, and over the past year, there's been various conversations about the jail and the sheriff and what have you. But I think it would be, we would be remiss if we used our budget as a means of, punishment.
But it's past funds that was the focus for Commissioner Bob Ellis. He sent this letter to Willis demanding transparency on how she spent county funds while prosecuting the Georgia election interference case involving former President Donald Trump. Specifically, he narrowed in on Willis's alleged romantic relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade.
These are fairly straightforward requests, which any elected official who is entrusted with public funds should supply that information back.
Ellis, a Republican, says the inquiry into the prosecutor, who is a Democrat, is nonpartisan.
We're talking about numbers, we're talking about dollars, we're talking about facts. We're not talking about partisanship, we're not talking about race, we're not talking about tribalism. We're talking about citizens, money, and is it being used in the way it's supposed to be, in the way it was intended.
In light of the allegations, county commissioners voted to put a hold on the DA's current request for just over $600,000, and that request is for 16 new vehicles. I'm told they'll bring that back up at their next meeting. Reporting live at the Fulton County Government Center, I'm Brittany Edney, Fox.
Yeah, they got millions of dollars. This guy was a multi-millionaire from working one case, and nobody's gone to court yet. Now, I gotta be fair to Miss Willis. There's been no proof necessarily given in the records that showed that she had an affair, but the question still remains, I guess, for many people, is the amount of money that this man, why Nathan Wade, was appointed special prosecutor and made so much money, and he's charging $250 an hour. He must be putting in overtime, double overtime, triple overtime over 2.5 years on this. I'm trying to play the video for y'all, because the ex-wife said she had proof that she had an affair. And Trump wants, of course, this motion to dismiss the case. That's what the other co-defendant, Mike Roman, is trying to do. So I'm going to
tonight at 11, newly unsealed records are now shedding light on the ongoing controversy surrounding Fulton County DA Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade.
The two are accused of financially benefiting from an alleged romantic relationship. Our 11 Alive investigators spent the day combing through hundreds of pages of records. Zach Merchant joining us now in studio. Zach, what did you find?
You're right, a lot of records to go through. Here's the big takeaway. Nathan Wade's law firm website says he's an experienced family law attorney, but new court records show that Nathan Wade was found in contempt in August in his own divorce case after a judge found he willfully failed to turn over records to his estranged wife, Joycelyn. A Cobb County judge made the court documents public yesterday afternoon. They had been under seal since 2022. The civil case was dragged into the national spotlight this week after Joycelyn Wade subpoenaed DA Fani Willis to sit for a deposition. A judge temporarily blocked the subpoena, but set another court date at the end of this month where new information could be revealed. That new information could be pivotal. Earlier this year, a defendant in the Fulton County criminal case against former President Donald Trump asked the judge in that case to disqualify Willis and Wade for their alleged relationship. Georgia State University Law School legal ethics expert Clark Cunningham says the controversy has already delayed that criminal case.
That's why I've said ever since last Friday when I saw the bank records for the first time that, in my opinion, Fani Willis, for the good of the case and for the good of the public, should step away right now.
To be clear, so far, no concrete evidence has emerged that proves the allegations, but many are now watching to see what else emerges in the coming weeks.
All right, our 11 Alive investigator, Zach Merchant, thank you.
Now, there's another video we have here. So the ex-wife said she had proof. Now, hasn't been shown up yet, but oh, what's wrong with this. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what the hell is wrong with my computer. All right.
Well, Fulton County DA Fani Willis will appear in a Cobb County courtroom tomorrow regarding the divorce case for her special prosecutor. Fox 5's Kim Leffler joins us from the live desk with more on what we can expect on that. Kim?
Well, Willis has been subpoenaed to be deposed in her special prosecutor Nathan Wade's divorce case. That was issued by Wade's ex-wife, Jocelyn Wade. This comes after Willis is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Wade by one of the co-defendants in the election interference case. Michael Roman wants his case thrown out, claiming Willis and Wade had an inappropriate relationship before he was hired, saying they should not be allowed to prosecute because of it. Wade's ex-wife submitted bank records showing Willis and Wade took multiple trips together during the investigation into the Georgia election interference case involving former President Donald Trump. Willis filed an emergency motion Thursday asking the judge to stay her testimony in Wade's divorce case. In that emergency motion, Willis says she lacks unique personal knowledge of any matter that is relevant to the subject matter involved in the pending action, claiming Wade's marriage fell apart before she met him. In her motion, the DA also says Jocelyn Wade has conspired with interested parties in the criminal election interference case to use the civil discovery process to annoy, embarrass, and oppress District Attorney Willis. One legal expert I spoke to says it's unknown whether or not the judge will have Willis testify.
On the one hand, a lot of the evidence that is wanted could be turned over in written form. On the other hand, since we've already moved this far into the divorce proceeding, it might just be easier to have her testify. And again, whether that's going to be open court or closed court is all yet to be seen. So there's a lot of unknowns for tomorrow that we'll have to wait and see.
Now, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee has scheduled a hearing for February 15th regarding the motion filed by Roman. I'll have much more about how all of this could impact the election interference cases coming up tonight on Fox 5 News at 10 and News Edge at 11. At the live desk, Kim Leffler, Fox 5 News.
All right. So you have that. Now Trump is trying to get the case they want to get the case tossed out. So, and Trump actually just testified, I think, in his civil trial earlier today. So I'm trying to play that. I'm sorry. Trying to play this video. I don't know, my damn computer. Hold up, y'all. But that was the strategy of all this, basically. So Trump was trying to get this thing dismissed. And that's what these guys are. Because now, instead of talking about election interference, we're talking about whether Fani Willis was screwing the prosecutor, the special prosecutor. Sean, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I saw this coming the minute they put the indictment on Donald Trump. And when they announced that
President
Fani
Donald
Willis
Trump has just filed a motion and joined a motion to disqualify.
Sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
And when they announced that this black woman would be in charge of the prosecution, I already saw the moves being set up on the chessboard as related to this entire case. And the whole campaign was to make sure that this black woman's credibility would get challenged at one point. And while this woman was gloating about getting a chance to prosecute Donald Trump, she couldn't see the subtle politics transpiring around her. And because she couldn't see the subtle politics transpiring around her, she couldn't see how these white supremacists were basically using her as a pawn to make it look like they wanted to punish Donald Trump, when in actuality what they wanted to do was use this bootleg as a pawn so that they could go out here and have her be their crash test dummy. And while she thought she was going to be prosecuting a president of the United States, she didn't see that she was the punchline of a joke, because as this was going on, what they did was go out and just did what I predicted, go find a story on her to challenge her credibility. And as her credibility is challenged, the entire case has been up. And basically, if you do have this case, you're going to have to go with a mistrial, or you're going to have to find another prosecutor. But this whole case is basically going to get delayed, and the case is possibly not going to go to trial. If they even does go to trial, what might happen is they may get a new prosecutor, and then the case gets floats into limbo. And if Donald Trump is elected, the case will quietly be dismissed. And this was all, again, political theater to make it look like this black prosecutor was doing something, but things were being done to her behind the scenes. And sadly, she couldn't be that she basically was being, again, set up to be the punchline of the joke, because white supremacy does not punish white supremacy, because white supremacy wants these benefits for themselves, and they will go to great lengths to protect their benefits, their goodies, and their giveaways. And they'll go as far as humiliating a black woman because she basically set herself up to be their political stooge.
So you think this was a setup?
Yeah.
In the beginning?
Chess game.
Well, now you have even the far left, though, coming to her aid, trying to defend her people. I think there's some truth to that they set her up for that, to be the fall person for this. Because Donald Trump, I felt all of this stuff that was done to Trump was just to keep him from running. Georgia, you got what's going on in New York and D.C., it's all to keep him from running. It's why he was impeached twice, even when he was out of office. So they can't really stop the man from being in the White House. And they know, especially why Clyburn and others like him are, I guess, upset or concerned, and they have every right to be, because Joe Biden hadn't done anything. He doesn't capture the attention of the American people. And we are in a recession. We are in tough times. We have an open border, for goodness sakes. So people are tired of it. And you have Democratic shills like Charlamagne The God. By the way, I just got an alert from TD Hip Hop. It sounds like Charlamagne is now saying that he understands Trump and that Trump resonates better with black voters than Biden. So I don't know if this fool is just flip-flops and shit, but that's what it sounds like. But this is why you can't trust celebrities when it comes to voting. You got to do your own research and put the time in and look into these people and make your own choices. Am I right? So
yeah.
If you like me for my time, pay me for my time, ladies and gentlemen. Tickers at the bottom. Sean, I got to ask you, there was something funny I want to talk about. So speaking of shills, did you see this video? I'm sure you didn't, but I had a video here of Plies, the rapper, who was going in on people complaining about illegal immigrants. I want you to listen to this. It's gonna hurt your ears. Hold on, but I want to hear what you had to say.
Fucking aluminum foil for 8-9 motherfucking months in the rain, sun, every motherfucking thing. They just come over here. I had a conversation with a motherfucker about immigrants. Motherfucker, they just come over here and they take our job. Check y'all jobs. What motherfucking job? The job that nobody don't want. The job that everybody think they too motherfucking good for anyway. The motherfucking people walk 17 motherfucking days, sleeping motherfucking aluminum foil for 8-9 motherfucking months in the rain, sun, every motherfucking thing. Swim across the motherfucking Atlantic Ocean. Just the motherfucker come over here to provide a motherfucking service. And y'all don't want a motherfucking over here? You're supposed to be greeting the motherfuckers at the border with motherfucking old moms, if you ask me. You need to be throwing them a motherfucking immigrant day. Y'all gave motherfucking Christopher Columbus a motherfucking day. And he's the biggest motherfucking thug in American motherfucking history. And you want me to motherfucking believe that they coming over here taking your motherfucking job. The reason y'all scared of the motherfuckers coming over here is the fact that they gonna come over here and show people what hard work really motherfucking is. That's what y'all privileged motherfuckers scared on. I ain't never heard no motherfucking in the hood talking about no motherfucking immigrant took their motherfucking job. I ain't heard now motherfucking scribble. I ain't never heard a motherfucker say, I went to King of Diamonds and they didn't give me the job, they gave me the Isabel. I ain't motherfucking heard that. Not motherfucking me. But y'all want a motherfucker to believe every time a motherfucking election coming around, oh, y'all motherfucking scared of the immigrants, the motherfucking boogeyman. But the whole motherfucking time they cut your motherfucking grass and cleaning your motherfucking house.
That's annoying.
We actually people that got no motherfucking green card, a pink card, and none of that shit.
More I watch this video, more just first off, I think of Bernie Mac's classic skit in Kings of Comedy where he talked about how motherfucker could be an adjective, noun, and an adverb because that's all Plies is proven right now. And this motherfucker, he loves talking through his nose. This motherfucker, I'm taking one from you, Plies. This is a chicken. I think this motherfucker had fucking chicken. Sean, I want to hear what you thought about it. You're laid back in a chair. I think I didn't see you grab your head or nothing like that.
Well, he's a minstrel, and a really stupid one at that, because most of those jobs those migrants take were jobs that black people usually would have had. And most black folks, we are the ones who suffer because these people come to our communities, and they come to our communities with government money to open up businesses. And as they take black dollars out of the community, these same racists want to talk about how lazy black people are, when in actuality, what they are being used as are buffers to keep black people out of the job market. And we have, sadly, this minstrel here going out of his way to try to tell us that we need to be happy about migrants. No, I'm not happy about migrants, because migrants take away jobs from black people. They come into black communities and they take black dollars out of black communities, live a middle-class life at our expense, then call us the N-word as they're taking our money. This Plies, again, is a certified minstrel, just doing the bootlicking for the white supremacists who have a hand up his backside. And this guy, basically, when I can't even stand hearing his mouse-like voice. I mean, he shows me how politically backwards he is, because he doesn't see how migrants have made life harder for black people.
Yeah. This is a minstrel indeed. One last thing I want to talk to you about, Sean. Crystal Hefner. I'm sure you might be even doing a story on this, but she's the widow of Hugh Hefner. I was going in on this on Tuesday, but she wrote a tell-all book. Now, she's 60 years younger than Hugh Hefner was at the time of his death. She met him when she was 22, and they married when she was about 29. She's about 37. So, or maybe she got married a little bit younger than that. But I want you to, she basically talked about how she was scared living with him. I want you to listen to this. Did you see this interview?
No, I haven't.
All right. I'm thinking this might be a good video for you to do. So hold on.
What life was really like inside the storied Playboy mansion. And big surprise, she says it was neither sexy nor glamorous.
I just knew it was time to just tell the truth, because the promise was killing me.
Crystal Hefner says she made a promise to the 91-year-old Hefner before he died that she would only say good things. But today she is acknowledging she suffered from years of emotional abuse.
It was ingrained in me to look a certain way, behave a certain way. I had to just like what he liked and go along with whatever he wanted.
And that included bleaching her brown hair to the point it actually burned her scalp.
Why did you do that? He would point it out, make a cringe face.
She says the emotional abuse included his demands in the bedroom.
Sex was expected of me. It was all about what Hef wanted, and you just conformed to whatever he wanted. It was robotic. It was awkward.
In her new book, Only Say Good Things, she writes about having regular group sex.
Did you recruit other women to go to Hef's bedroom?
Lots of women would want to come up and sleep with Hef.
She says she began to dread their sex life.
I would be sitting with him in movie night, and he'd pull out a little tissue that has his little Viagra pill and he'd take it. Like, oh, okay, I guess it's on today, and I'm going to have to do this.
Crystal first met Hefner at a Halloween party in 2008 at the mansion. She was 21 and came dressed as a sexy French maid. He was an 82-year-old American legend.
All of a sudden, Hef's gaze fell on me, and he invited me in, and then I was inside the enclosure, and it was surreal, and I did feel really special.
She says she hoped the Playboy mansion would offer a fresh start after a difficult childhood.
When I was young, I didn't really have a stable home, and so maybe part of that was thinking, wow, this is a place I could really belong.
But she says the next decade that she spent at the mansion was filled with very dark days.
Were you free to leave the mansion?
No.
Were you in love with Hef?
No.
She wasn't in love with the man. And she stayed with the man till he died. I wanted to know, Sean, what's your thoughts? Because it seems like this is an example of white people protecting their icons and idols, especially with Me Too, because nobody said anything about Hef while he was alive. not of this magnitude. She's writing a book. She's in real estate now. She also said in another interview that aired last night that Hefner didn't die of natural causes. He actually had E. coli traces of it in his intestines. And you know what that means, right?
Yeah, he was eating groceries.
He was butt pirating.
Yeah. But I listened to Crystal's story, and it basically sounded to me like another case of revisionist history. It sounds like to me that this gold digger basically wants to try to rewrite the narrative to make herself into a victim now that the gravy train has run out. I mean, 10 years when she was married to Hugh Hefner, she had no problem with him when she was 21, and she had no problem with him because she has with a high status man, and she was on the arm of that high status man. So she had no problem with him when she was with him. But all of a sudden, now that he's dead and she knows that she can't get sued for what she's saying, this is where she wants to tell a different story. She's talking about only saying good things because she knows if she says something bad, he would basically file for divorce and cut her off with a prenup and an NDA where she couldn't say anything. So she waited until he died so that she could be able to say all of these things as a part of revisionist history, to say that she is a victim of alleged abuse, even though I don't really believe that there was any alleged abuse. When it comes to Hugh Hefner, he was basically a deviant and a guy who was into sexual deviancy. So he was doing all types of sex, and she was down for that as long as she was able to get whatever money she wanted, and she was down to look however she wanted. Again, this was the deal she signed on for, because when it comes to white folks, marriage isn't a relationship. Marriage is a business. Now, she says she didn't love him when she married him, and she was trite about that. She didn't love him when she married him. No, she loved the money, and she loved the social currency and the social status of being on the Playboy Mansion. But when that ran out, what she wanted to do was monkey branch to another man. But now she realizes that she's aged out of the system. There's no way for her to monkey branch. Now she's writing a tell-all book to try to revise history, hoping to make that people will become sympathetic to her, and some simp around the corner will see her as somebody they want to get with. But she better get with the times, because the only thing waiting for her is a trip to bust downtown in apartment 8B across from Lisa Ray, Tia Mowry, Lisa Bonet, Halle Berry, Vivica Fox, and many others. Look for the view of the graveyard that's waiting for her. I mean, that's what's waiting for her in the social marketplace, where she will be 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace price, because Hugh Hefner bought her high, and now she's going to be in the marketplace at a low value. That's the final fate for Hugh Hefner's wife. And while she dishes, she basically shows us nothing that I would know different about Hugh Hefner. I mean, Hugh Hefner, again, he has been telling playmates they have to act a certain way to be with him. And if they want to be on his mansion and be with him, they have to fit into and comply to his looks and his standards and participate in sexual deviancy like he likes. So he's not saying nothing new to me, because I know how dirty Hollywood is, and I know what those Playboy playmates, they be doing some kinds of business on the mansion. So that ain't nothing new over there. And her attacks aren't really shocking at all, because this is just another day and another day in the world of entertainment and another day at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, it's free love.
Yep.
That's all that is. So anyway, Sean, you have any idea what your live stream is going to be about tomorrow?
I'm still thinking about it. I mean, I may ask the question, are we in a recession? That might be the live stream. That live stream might be about asking the question, is America in a recession?
Right. Everybody, please, if you would like to donate to my channel, love me for my time and pay me for my time, you see the links at the bottom. Brother Sean, it's always a pleasure to have you on, man. It was we did light work tonight, but we did that work.
Yeah.
So I will be sure to try and tune in tomorrow to your show. I don't know too much of anything else. Those have just been the big things that have happened. Just Trump winning these primaries. Who do you think is going to be his vice presidential candidate?
It's still a toss-up. I mean, I don't really know because Donald Trump is so unpredictable. You never know what he's going to do. I mean, it's hard to pick a front-runner to be his vice president. He may even call me up and pick me to be his vice president the way things are going.
Yeah. Vivek Ramaswamy and Tim Scott were tap dancing so hard to get it. I don't know if you saw Tim Scott was doing some smiling, like more than the cream of wheat man.
Yeah.
On the stage. I want y'all to see this. Hold on a second. Al Sharpton was complaining about it. But hold on. Yeah, Tim Scott is right here. I just want to show everybody this.
Yeah, he was super bootlicking.
Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? I mean, look at him.
Look at him, looking like the
Next
cream of
week
wheat
it's
man.
Nevada. Next week it's Nevada. It's not South Carolina. We love South Carolina, but next week it's Nevada. And I'm pleased to announce we just won Nevada. We just won 100%. Because all of them, they looked at it and they took polls, and I was polling at 95% to 4 or 5%, and they decided not to play in Nevada. So we just won Nevada. We have a man from Nevada here, Steve Wynn, wherever he may be, and John Paulson, the great John Paulson, made plenty of money in Nevada. Doesn't live there, but he makes a hell of a lot of money. He makes money everywhere he goes, actually. It's a money machine. Maybe we'll put you know what? Put him at Treasury. You want to make a little money? Let's put you. Anyways, good to have you guys. But we go to.
I'm with boss.
Nevada, and that's been won. So we pick up all of those delegates. And then we do go to South Carolina, where we've done really well, where I've done well. We have a great governor, lieutenant governor, and great everything, because almost every one of them have endorsed me. 2 great senators, which is hard. I mean, did you ever think that she actually appointed you, Tim? And think of it, appointed, and you're the senator of his state, and she endorsed me. You must really hate her. No, it's a shame. It's a shame. Uh-oh. I just love you. No, that's why he's a great politician. That's why he's a great politician.
I love the boss. Actually, y'all remember Mushmouth from back in the day?
Yep.
Yeah. This is Tim Scott's high school yearbook photo. Hey, the Fab the Alba. Okie dokie. You know, I wonder if I could get. I should ask Andrew Wyatt if I could get Dr. Cosby to come on the show just one time and just do the Fat Albert characters just once. Do Tim Scott. Ask him if Tim Scott is the inspiration for Dumb Donald. Or rather, was Dumb Donald the inspiration for Tim Scott? Hated the Fab the Alba. All right, Sean, you want to do a plug-in?
All right, the SJS Direct 2024 catalog is going to be launching March 22nd. If you want to pick up the first book of the SJS Direct 2024 catalog in digital format, you can pre-order your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati on Amazon.com and other online booksellers like Google Play. And you can pick up the books of the whole SJS Direct catalog in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com right now.
All right. Brother, you can also get the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Amazon Kindle. Hey, gentlemen. Sean, thank you very much.
All right, thank you for having me on.
And this has been another exciting edition of Random Topic Thursdays. DeAndre says, wouldn't it be hilarious if Trump picked Nikki Haley as his vice president? That would be very hilarious because I wouldn't be expecting that. I think Trump might go with the Satan. Perish the thought. I'm not impressed with him. But anyway, y'all, thank you, Sean. Please drop something in the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. If you love me for my time, pay me for my time. Guys, that's about it. I do want to make an announcement. I just want to say I want to thank you all for being with me. We're going to be I think in March is going to mark the 4-year anniversary. March or April. Actually, it was in April when we started doing the random topics shows. And I can't believe 4 years has passed, so we'll be commemorating that. But I'll have an announcement in the future as to our program. So I want to thank you all. But you all be safe and be blessed. Enjoy the rest of the night, family. Shout out to you, Brother Bernard. Shout out to you. All right, man. I'm already getting like 20 people. The shadow ban must be lifting. Not really. All right, y'all. Y'all be safe and be blessed. See you, Cece. Brother Bernard, it's good to see you, computer robots. I'll holla. Peace.